Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm Wendy Stuart, and I'm not really by my lonesome today. Tim's not here, but I have a guest, and he's live, and we like him better alive than dead, don't we? Yes, we do. So what a week it's been. You know, we're in the fall season. So much going on in New York. For those of you who want to see a really wonderful show that picks up on the club scene in New York, old New York, the gritty New York, and I have a reason for using the word gritty because it'll tie into my guest today. You know, New York from back in the day, from the late 70s, places like the Anvil, the Hellfire Club. Yes, you all remember those places. How about the Vault? Ephraim Gonzalez has a wonderful show at the Soho Project, and you simply must get to see it. Just really wonderful pictures from back in the day, but they are very relevant now. We have to keep our New York history out there, right? Because I'm sure a lot of you know history is being rewritten, and what's being rewritten is often not the truth. The truth is in those photographs. Okay, I said my sermonette. Shout out to my amazing friend Tret Tierney. I gave an incredible birthday celebration for his 65th birthday, but I swear to God, he looks like he's 45. And we had it at a place called The Factory that, lo and behold, it's a bar restaurant now, but it seems to be Edie Sedgwick from The Factory lived in that building. Couldn't think of anything more fitting to have a party at. And I met so many of the most interesting people there. This is why we live in New York. This is why we go out. We love meeting interesting people. And speaking of which, I saw an amazing play last night, Alexander McQueen's play, which is at a place called The Mansion over in the Highline District. Yeah, I had to think about that. Yeah, you can tell I never go over there because I had to think about it. I don't go over there all that much because it's so far, but it was an incredible play. It's about Alexander McQueen, for those of you who followed his career. Amazing talent, batshit crazy, and a lot of amazing talents are, but the way the entire show was crafted completely blew the audience away. It was brilliantly done. And of course, we got to see all the clothes. And they have at intermission, they have like a little mini museum where they have on display Alexander McQueen costumes and shoes. And yeah, it was just wonderful. So the clock is ticking on that show. We've only got a few days left. So make sure you put that on your roster. It's Alexander McQueen. It's at the Mansion and not to be missed. This Saturday, you can catch myself and Lady Clover Honey and Dorothy Bishop and Evan Lawrence at the Boxers Halloween show. It's called The Zombie Show. It's being produced by, of course, the Imperial Court of New York. I forget who we're raising money for, but that's what we do, which is really wonderful. It's all Halloween themed, and yeah, this is like one of my first Halloween performances of the season, right? And now it's just going to mushroom out from there. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, and on a personal note, I went to a wonderful family reunion. My relatives, a lot who I haven't seen in 35 years, and you can only imagine a lot of cousins that were babies 35 years ago are now all grown up now. A lot of people I didn't recognize, a lot of people not there because they've gone to the other side, as I like to say, including my wonderful husband, Alan Kaplan, but I felt very much like he was there with me. But it's really great to get together with people that you haven't seen in so many years and just like catch up and get people's perspectives. And I will say most of the people at my family reunion agree with me about what's going on in the world. There you go. That was a very neutral way to say that. Okay, now I have a little something here. I'm going to give you a little clue about my guest today. You may be wondering what this phallic thing I have in my hand is, but if you look really close, hold on, I'm going to hold it up to the camera. Look at that. You can tell it's a rat tail. So I have a little something to tell you very special about today's guest. My guest is a playwright, a performer, and a director. And the show is called Detonation Rat Cabaret. It's happening at Theater for the New City. And you know what? I love when my guests get into who they really are, who they're playing, who they're feeling. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to my favorite rat in New York, JC Augustin. Come on down. All right, there you go. All right, and we're all in there. It's so fun to have you here. We're gonna move that back a little so people can totally get the full flavor. Look at you, my God. You're all like cute and furry. And
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, move over a little bit more this way because I don't want them to miss anything.
We're trending, New York rat realness, baby.
It is. We're serving rat realness here today on If These Walls Could Talk. You're so much fun. I always love having you as a guest on this show. The last time was Whiskey River.
It was the Crocodile Show.
The Crocodile Show. I had you on for that show, and then before that was Whiskey River.
Amazing.
This is your third time.
So much fun. Yeah.
So, well, you're always so much fun. You're working me. You're working me. I want more. No, you know what? I have to just share this with my audience. I love JC because he is so incredibly creative. His shows all have political and social relevance to them, and I love that. Plus, they're fun. Yeah. They're art.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you just continue to do them.
Yeah. It's like gonorrhea, it's social, it's political, and it's fun.
Yeah. It's social, political. All right. There's one thing I disagree. I don't think gonorrhea is fun. I don't think our audience will agree
relative.
with you at all.
Yeah,
Right. Or it's all relative.
Not that anybody in your audience would really
know. No, we're not that kind of show. No judgments on this part. Did I hear a little squeak out of you?
No, I just said
squeaky clean. So I'm going to open up. Tell us a little bit about this show, and then I do want to talk about your twisted history. But the premise behind this show.
Well, it was born out of this idea when Eric Adams had started this whole thing with the rat czar and upping the stakes on the war against rats in New York. That was the initial interest, and then it really it got kind of layered when the cell phones were exploding in Lebanon.
Right.
So the detonation of
okay, wait. I got it. So you have taken two very complex political thoughts here. I remember the phones detonating in Lebanon.
Right.
How did you link that into the rat infestation in New York? What is it in your head that made you do that?
Well, it might have been all the weed. No,
it might have been the weed you were smoking.
No. The coffee, definitely the coffee, but no, it's just being in this moment that we're at. It's so confounding in many ways. Yeah. Things are very disturbing, but the world around us goes on,
but it's disturbing. Yeah. Oh, but it's not just our world here. It's not just, metaphorically, right? And this is not getting into who's voting for what, but Eric Adams did things that he was a rat. Yeah, and then he was having a war against rats, and you want to say, but you're the rat.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the big points in the show that we get to is while if you look at the history of mankind, and there are studies and things that you could find that show that wherever there was man, there were rats, and so it's like rats are always in the shadow of man, but the question becomes as they as they continue to evolve and adapt to different situations,
and they're very intelligent,
that are caused by man.
Right.
You know, it's sort of like they're weirdly similar. You know, I talk with scientists. Some very good friends of mine are scientists who work with rats, and you know, I was running my premise behind them, and they were like, yeah, well, yeah, you know, there's a reason why we study them so hard. It's not because we're so. I mean, I look like
you look like a rat today, but you know.
No, it's not the physical similarity, but the physiological, internal kind of neurological brain thing.
They're very
so
bright. I'm sure your friends told you rats can figure things out.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have a friend at the Explorers Club who's a scientist. His name is George. I got to remember his last name. You should talk to your friends about him. But what he does is he studies rats. You know, most of us have, and not me, but many people have a negative reaction to rats.
I scream like a little girl. I'd say,
But for me, I'm going to share this, and I don't care who thinks I'm crazy. It's very mixed. In my neighborhood, I'm in charge of the tree pits in front of my building, and we have now tunnels. And because I'm in charge of the tree pits, I had to make the move to get them to have the extermination company come in. My feelings, I have to be honest, are very mixed about that. If you watch the rats, you can see them thinking.
Of course.
And now they're, you know, because they are what we call, I hate that word, vermin. They carry disease or whatever. Yeah. But now they're putting poison there. And ultimately, I'm responsible for their demise. Can I just tell you about my dystopian fantasy? Because please. I can always talk dystopian fantasies.
Tell me about your fantasy.
My fantasy.
Wendy.
Why are they not inventing something that's a pellet that just keeps them from reproducing? Wouldn't that be a lot smarter?
Oh my God! Wow.
I said it,
Wendy. It's amazing. You know, you just spoiler alert. You know,
oh, you're kidding! I haven't seen the plan. It was not even in your PR stuff. So no, but
we play with the idea of exactly what you said.
Birth control.
Pellet. And you said it for me,
I didn't know.
When I know, but this is something that's really happening. One of the new tactics, and remember last year they had the rat summit. It was like all these rat experts from all the. Well, I crashed it. Kathy Karate, the rat czar. I met her there, and
of course she did.
She very nice lady. I liked her, but she kicked me out. Like,
what did you get kicked out?
Because I walk into a room full of people with credentials. And
did you have the rat suit on?
No.
And you didn't even have the rat suit on.
No, I was trying to look like them, you know.
Right.
And but I could, you know, I could when I pulled out my notebook and sat in a very conspicuous seat. I was looking for a seat in the back, but all the back seats were taken.
Right, I'm sure it was packed too.
Yeah. But you know, once you walk in, you have to go. You can't not.
But why would I'm confused. Why wouldn't they let you stay?
Because everybody there was like a top secret thing. They didn't even announce where it was.
So how did you find out?
Because I know people in the city.
I know people and they knew people.
Yeah, exactly. So I found out that it was a Pier 57. And I went and I snuck in, and I took out my notepad, and somebody was talking, and then Kathy Karate, the rat czar, she comes and she taps me on the shoulder. She does one of these, like, hey, you shouldn't be here. But she very gracefully gave me the right contact. But it was sort of like this top secret thing. But they were talking about birth control for rats.
Wow.
And that just opened up a can for me, because I said, wow, birth control is just a step away from sex. And, you know,
so that like kind of turn
fucking,
you on?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, yeah,
well, absolutely. I didn't expect that to be the answer.
No, it just gave me something to write about. You know,
right.
something that's kind of fun. And Emilio, who's here, will tell
who
you.
we're going to bring on.
All of you know, it is about procreation and recreation and sex and drugs and rock and roll. It really is all that, because it's a story about rats, but it's really a story about humans, about us New Yorkers primarily.
Yeah, it's like a metaphor for humans.
A metaphor, yes.
A metaphor.
No, that's a big word, but no, it's just a crazy acid trip, whatever it is. It's we're having a lot of fun. And I'm really
and I think, you know what, I love the creative energy behind it, because rats are a very big topic in New York for all of us. And we have started, all right, now I'm on my soapbox. I'm totally for recycling when I'm out in Pennsylvania for compost, totally. We started it in New York, and I know the composting things are secure or whatever, but now I have to be honest with you here. My feelings are a little mixed, because I have to say to myself, are they really taking it and putting it in compost, or are they emptying it and then it's going in with the rest of the garbage? Let's put our cards on the table here, which is going to make rats come.
No, you know where it's really going.
Tell me where it's going.
The Jamba Juice smoothie. Yeah.
I'll never look at Jamba Juice. They say you're such a rat.
They're sponsors of our show, so I have to say Jamba Juice.
Okay, so we got Jamba Juice in there, and I love that they're sponsoring the show, because I happen to. That's where I go.
You go there?
Of course, Jamba Juice. I don't know if I'll still be going there. Come on, we don't know that that's where the composting is going.
They're going to sue me.
But it is food for thought, pardon the pun, that now we're doing this composting thing. I think the intention is great, but I have to wonder, with all the issues in New York, is it really being composted, or they're just telling us that it is? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I hope it is, because I know somebody, a guy named Gil Lopez, who is really
now we're dropping names.
No, he's in Queens, and he runs one of these community kind of farms, and he's really into composting and things, and he was really behind a lot of the citywide efforts. He doesn't work with the city, but he's an advocate for composting, and I know him. And he will
straight up guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll compost your pineapple for you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, I don't know his relationship to the citywide thing, but if there are people like him working in it, I believe that they should be.
I think his intent. I think the intention is real. I guess it's the reality of New Yorkers. I know in my building people are doing it, but I have to wonder.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I do maintenance, meaning I take out the trash.
You take out the trash.
And I clean the toilets at Theater for the New City.
I love it.
And we have a compost bin, because everybody has to have one.
Well, that's a very cool place.
And I'm telling you, I'm the one who has to empty it out.
And
there are Coke cans, pizza boxes,
right?
Like people,
right?
What? I'm thinking,
it's everything.
These people.
Yeah, it's okay. You can let it go. But I hear you. You know what? You're doing the work. No, you're doing the work. You can.
No, but I'm not gonna. But it just makes me think, like, God, people just don't get it, or they just don't want to put. But yeah. So I imagine that those composting bins citywide are full of all kinds of who knows what, styrofoam.
All kinds of other stuff that shouldn't be. Yeah. So let's talk about your storyline, right? Can you give us a little synopsis for people that are coming to see the show, which, by the way, I'm putting it up front right here, October 9th through the 26th.
We open tomorrow.
Wow. Are you getting me tickets for this?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have to let you know when I can go. Thursday through Sunday, and Thursday through Saturday, with a matinee on Sunday.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, we love Theater for the New City. Yeah. Incredible. The work that comes out of there, definite think tank, but the sheer amount of work. They have their Halloween party coming up. Your show your timing is perfect, because it's Halloween, it's rats, and it's stuff like that.
It's and also the mayoral election is happening.
Right.
Sadly,
So the rat thing.
I'm a supporter. Adams dropped out, but still, the rats are just resigned. Rats will always be a part of the story of New York City,
right? And politics.
So it's all So I'm kind of thrilled that it's all happening.
Timing is perfect.
But more than anything, we're just having so much fun.
No, I love that, and I want to talk about the songs, but can give us a synopsis.
Okay, it's a very New York story. It's like we find our gutter rat, just she's adapted to survived through all the worst toxins and all the poisons in society. And she, she's on a low end, and there is a movement, an organization of rats that I conceived around the time of the Occupy
Democrat movement.
The
Stop
Occupy,
it.
Yeah,
There's an Occupy rat movement.
No, is there? I didn't know that.
Well,
in my play we call it the Rat Underground. Underground, but
The Rat Underground.
it is an organization of rats that are changing. They've evolved enough to know that, you know, they don't have to follow man's footsteps.
Right.
They can create their own image and PR, and they're not the bad people that we think they are.
Well, and your rats you've made more independent.
Yeah. So our gutter rat, her life gets turned around by the Rat Underground, and she becomes a professional. She gets to the top of the rat race. She's a. I'm not kidding
Can
you.
I just say at the top of the pack?
Yeah,
the top of the rat race.
She's a top rat.
Love
you know,
it.
she climbs to the top, only to be brought down by a new regime and rat extermination, which is birth control. Since we said it, I get it out of the bag.
Right.
And what happens to her demise? They're great moments of glory and an inspiration that happen. And I think it's kind of funny. I don't want to give away too much.
No, you can't give away too much. No spoilers. But
in the shortest way, you'd say it's about the rise and the fall of a New York City rat who's just kind of hustling around, trying to make her way through life, you know, and adapting and exploring and evolving. In the times that we live in. So it's like my story, your story. Everybody's story.
It sounds like it's a feel-good kind of story, but it's also a realistic kind of story. So every feel-good kind of story has to have some not so feeling good in it.
Yeah, you know, I hope it's not a downer. I don't think it is.
Anything with you, come on, look at you. I hope it's not a downer. Is your entire cast?
I just want to say, since you say, look at me, I am wearing a very amazing couture by.
Can we hold up a furry arm?
By our wonderful costume designer Clara Chan. She's made all these rat suits.
Let's shout out Clara. Yeah. What is her last name?
Chan.
Clara Chan. This is great.
She's on Instagram. Blue Black. Blue_Black is her. She's amazing and a great artist. She curates art shows and she makes I can't really show you the full body, but they're very.
Well, we have the tail. I'm trying to give them a little length on the tail.
Very detailed and beautifully stitched. So I feel honored to be working with her, as well as with my other actors and collaborators. The person that I wrote the songs with, Vicente Cayo, he's in Brazil now.
He's Brazilian though, right? Yeah. How cool. How did you find him?
Well, we did a little 15-minute version of this show last year at Halloween. And I didn't know him then, that he wanted to just jump in. He's like, hey, I play music. And we just started creating songs and just such a loving, wonderful, creative spirit.
I love it.
I love him very much. And that sadly had to go back to Brazil. And how can I say, oh no, you know, extend your visa?
I don't know. Are there even visa extensions
Make America,
now?
blah, blah, blah. You know, I was like, wow. So, but we continued the collaboration.
You can collaborate,
through the Zoom thing.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea, but we made it work. The bulk of the songs were done by the time he was in Brazil. But I miss him dearly.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, Vicente Coelho. Coelho. He wrote the music with me. We wrote them together.
Coelho is it said?
Coelho.
Okay, Coelho. I think it is Coelho.
Coelho.
Says the girl who mispronounces every name.
Oh, yeah. But you get away with it.
Well, because I explained. Thank you so much. So,
you can call me anything.
I love that you have this, element. He's from Brazil.
Yeah. And it comes out in the song. Some of the songs.
It does. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, that is wonderful. Yeah. How many songs are in this?
We wrote 10 songs, and I'm throwing in Josephine Baker.
Stop it!
Josephine Baker is like that.
I love it. No, but I love it. Yeah. She's amazing.
We have a character that is somewhat of a goddess. She's not a rat. She's a skunk. I'll tell you, she's a skunk. Played by the amazing performer Bryce Payne.
Okay.
And if you know Bryce, you know that it's just out of the box crazy. And a beautifully artistic, amazing what
Bryce is dressed up like a skunk, right?
They're a skunk, and it's just amazing performance. I'm so thrilled.
Wow.
And Bryce sings 2 songs. One of them is Josephine Baker's song, from the 1930s, and we couldn't even find the music. I went to the public, the Performing Arts Library looking for the music. And they're like, the only place you could get this music is at the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris. I was like,
wow.
Oh, shit. So, I immediately just started, emailing all pianists that I know. Hey, do you know
this? Yeah,
and they had heard the song, but we actually got it. We Googled it, and we couldn't. We kind of stole it.
Said it right here.
Yeah,
no, you know what's going to happen, and this has been happening. It's a good thing I don't have it recorded and I'm playing it on this show, because I'm getting these warnings from Facebook that I'm using music and they are putting something on my account about monetizing. I know you have to be really careful. You know what? I have to ignore it because I don't know what they're talking about. I use, what do they call it? Copyright free music? Yeah, for my openings. Yeah, you have to be careful though.
Yeah, you gotta just flip your hair and
you
just
have to
say,
like
fuck you.
flip your tail and just say. So of course I want to get into more about you, but we happen to have someone here today that I want to bring on who is playing, I'm assuming, a rat in the show.
He does many things.
Okay.
Emilio is just.
He's just Emilio.
No, there's many things, multifaceted, and what he does in our show.
So do we want to try and fit all of us here, or do okay?
Why don't you squeeze in the middle, Emilio?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my tail! Hello, Emilio.
How's it going?
Okay, so I got to get everybody in here. So one of the things I just adore about Emilio, he's been on this show before. Everyone else sends a photo and a bio. With Emilio, it's just Emilio. he just, because he's so fabulous, he just shows up, and he's just really terrific. So please welcome Emilio Garcia.
Hello.
And I can't tell you anything about him because he never sends me anything, but that's okay, because he's going to talk about what he does. I'm scooting over a little bit more so we have a little more room. Okay, because we have one of our people today has a rat tail, and we have to allow extra room for the rat tail. Oh my God, we can all share the rat tail.
My rat tail is your tail.
My rat tail is your rat tail. So Emilio,
yes.
I know amongst the many things, Emilio does many things. I know you're a performer.
Yes.
How did you get involved in JC's production?
With JC actually approached me while I was working with Chris Tanner.
Chris Tanner, right.
Yeah.
Love
the
Chris.
Lovely Chris Tanner,
Yeah.
who I appeared with initially on their show.
Yes.
With
no photo or bio, but you
Hey,
appeared.
hey.
It's like we get you back again. You're Emilio. Right. You're Emilio. That's all you need. So
so JC approached me and was like, first of all, we had run in the same circle for a while, since I started working with
Penny Arcade, right?
And JC first actually invited me to audition for the street theater program.
Oh, cool.
At Theater for the New City.
Right, that you were doing over the last months, actually.
Yeah.
You were all over.
Earlier this summer, yeah.
And it was fabulous, and I got to work with the legendary Crystal Field.
Right.
And
everything.
Everything.
And legendary, who does so much for the amount of production that comes out of Theater for the New City is completely blown away. I want to have Crystal on the show. I want to have her on the show.
Totally
She's the wisest person. Just the wise,
and wise and generous and committed.
The real
right.
deal.
The real
And
authentic.
tough cookie.
Yeah.
Go on.
So through that process, JC asked me to join the cast.
Okay.
He was like, we had a lot of fun in that show, and everybody was able to, share our skills with each other. So JC was like, hey, I think you would be really cool for this part. So now I'm here.
Have I got a part for you?
Yeah.
So here, so you have a few different parts in the show.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely a chameleon, and there's a small ensemble of 3 that we kind of
you're
transition between
interchange
parts. Yeah.
What's your favorite part that you're playing? You must have one that you like more than anything.
Well, of course it has to be Splat. It's Splat. It's Splat.
Wait, hold on. Splat.
Yeah.
SPLAT.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how JC offered me to be in the, when he pitched it to me, I was like, yes. I was like, I don't even care what it is. Yes. So and JC's just like such a magical mind. When I came to the
that's
the
what we
table
call
read,
it. It's a magical
yeah,
mind.
that's what it is. When I came to the table read, I didn't know what to expect.
Of course.
I wasn't familiar with JC's work. So when we were getting into it, I was like, this is really good. This is really, really good.
Yeah.
And
well, he's a great writer, and he's got an he's got the kind of brain that you used to say back in the day that did a lot of LSD, came through it, and just writes incredible imagination.
Yeah.
And the characters are brilliant.
So brilliant. Yeah.
They're so brilliant. So can I ask what kind of animal Splat is?
Splat is also a rat. Yeah.
Okay, Splat. Wait, hold on. Splat the rat. Okay, they got it. Not really.
You could explain better.
I mean, I don't know how much you want to.
Without giving it away, is Splat not just a rat? God, this is so. We're like doing haikus. Is Splat just not a rat or something else? That's a haiku.
Well. Splat is a conundrum in a way.
A conundrum. Splat's a conundrum.
Splat is it could be seen as the product of the New York City rat war. Definitely, Splat is genetically engineered, and he's.
You use a lot of different elements of now in your shows. So this character is genetically engineered.
I'm very sci-fi. I love sci-fi. I don't understand science, but I like fucking.
JC, it's not so sci-fi anymore. They're genetically engineering. They can do this with babies.
Reality,
with embryos.
Well, Splat is exactly. Wendy, it's so amazing. You know my play because
I don't know.
Splat,
you didn't tell me about
it. He is a genetically engineered creation that we have an amazing Splat entrance.
We're not going to give it away because we want people to come see this incredible show, that sounds so insightful to everything that we're dealing now.
Yeah, thank you. I hope that it will be. I think that it is. From my biased point of view, it hits all the points. And of course, when you're creating and directing, you want to try to find a way to connect, and you don't, I feel confident. I love it. It's great, but you never know how people take things,
but that's why you put the show up there, and you just do it. We're not always creating for audience. Why we create these things for ourselves because we have a story to tell. And a message. You have a lot of messages in the kind of work that you do.
No. My bottom line message is shake your booty. Have a lot of fun. But no, Amelia.
In your rat suit, shake your booty and your rat tail. Here we go. Let's just do one right here. Woo! Shaking the old rat tail.
I just want to say, like, Emilio, you has been a really amazing presence. I'd never worked with you before we did the summer thing, but immediately the summer thing is this. Your voice is like a beacon, an amazing voice.
Well,
and a beautiful mover, and so I love working with people who just want to contribute. And you got that. So I feel very honored and blessed to be working with you. And doing this because you. I mean, he's also helped choreograph.
Emilio's incredible. Penny is so intuitive. Penny Arcade is so intuitive with people that she meets. And when I met Emilio, I'm like, who is that? He's so cute. She's like, that's my new assistant. And then she was going out of town. She's like, you can hire him for pet sitting too. But I didn't know anything more about you other than you were assisting Penny. But I knew you had to be of a certain kind of mind to be able to do that, right? She's unbelievably creative and brilliant.
Well, I must say, like, I owe it to people really giving me the opportunity, But
you were what I'm saying, Emilio, none of us would have ever found you. Really. There's too many layers to go through. And there you were, and you started meeting everybody in the scene who totally you know, I looked at you and I'm like, oh, he's got to be doing more than, you know, I knew it.
Yeah,
and then you pop up at Chris Tanner, the first show, which I missed, the second show, which I was here for.
Yes.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, he can sing. He can really sing. And he's a performer on top of everything else. And your sensibility lends itself to this kind of work too.
Yeah, very much
Like
so.
John Vaccaro would have loved you.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, John Vaccaro would have loved you, but I've only seen you in this kind of work. Personally, I think the sky is going to be the limit for you. There's going to be a lot of, you know, I do comedy mostly. I'm not pigeonholed into it. It speaks to me. It's what I love. I'm not serious. I'm delirious. But in your own career, I really think that, you know, you're going to be breaking down walls and doing incredible things.
Thank you.
You know?
Thank you.
And
I mean, it's all what I'm constantly reminded of doing this work and working in the world that I do is that this is like the greatest foundation I could have.
Oh, for you?
Yeah.
Yes, because this foundation speaks to you. There are a lot of actors, they would be like, hey, what, you know,
right.
Like when I first started in this business, I saw Penny Arcade. I had no idea what she was doing. Zero idea what she was doing. And I'm like, oh, that's theater. I remember she was on stage peeling an onion or cutting an onion with no clothes on. And I didn't understand it. It only took like years later to not only get heard of, for me to understand. Charles Bush, when I was in college, everyone's like, you need to see this. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand. You understand early on. You are a very wise soul. Why do you think you're such a wise soul?
Oh, I don't know. I always say I have granny issues. I've always just been attracted to people older than myself.
Right.
And
I think it's because you're so old yourself.
It really is.
You get it.
Like an old soul. But I'm really interested in cultural exchanges, and I think, you know, the more different you are from somebody, the more you have to offer to each other.
Right.
And I mean, it can be so mutual, so symbiotic. And I found like a really perfect niche where I can use my skills to benefit other people, and they can, you know, like I owe a lot to Penny Arcade.
For absolutely.
Taking me under her wing and really putting me forward and promoting me like hell. You know, it has done so much for me. Yeah,
she did, and that's a shout out to Penny Arcade.
Well,
you know, and here we all are. The show's going to open up. What were the challenges, if there were any, for you in this show?
For me,
I'll get back to you in your rat suit. Now I have Emilio, no photo, no bio. You're JC in the rat suit.
Well, that's almost like your lyric.
So were there any particular challenges in these roles? You have a few roles that you're
playing. Oh, definitely. I mean, that's just, you know, comes along with the work. But I think what the challenge I was posed with that excited me the most was this number that we do with Splat, which is played by multiple actors.
And you love it. You love this particular number.
It's really wonderful, and it's also it involves a huge physicality, which is one thing to do in a performance yourself, like pure body, but in relation to other actors, you know, with contact with, you know.
So this is a choreographed number that we can expect to see.
Oh yeah, and one of several, it's super very guttural. It's very primal.
Gritty.
It's very gritty.
Again, I haven't seen the show.
The number's inspired by the Iggy Pop. You
Oh,
know,
I love it. Wow.
Early Iggy Pop and the Stooges. So
So yeah, I would say that number has been like the chief challenge, you know, in terms of where I was putting my energy and how.
Well, because you're working with other people in a choreographed number. You really have to work off of other sensibilities.
Very much so. And you know, it's no like partner waltz. Like it is a twisting sort of
it's congealed.
And to take on these qualities as a whole, you know, we're like an amoeba. So
I love that, and that's how I saw it. You become, and you can tell me if I'm right, one organism.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's how I saw it.
yeah.
And again, I don't know anything about this show. I'm just going.
It's what a mass is. Splat is a mass of particles unformed. You know,
that's
so
why
you know,
splat is splat.
got all the ingredients, but they're not quite together. But I really part of it's been one of my favorite things to see is how you and Sam and Mia, Samuel and Mia, are the other parts of the triad, and to see these people just congeal. You guys are congealed. You guys are wonderful, and you guys are doing more than just splat. Your sanitation workers and your rats, but you're really
sexy rats.
They're really helping. They're really, you guys are sort of like the holding up the house in a way. It's very nice, and you guys are so generous. It's really wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I think from everything I'm getting from this in a show like this, the cast really has to have the same chemistry to be able to sense each other and work with each other in such a way. You can't. I've done productions where there's always one or two that go against the go against the grain, and you're like rolling your eyes, and you're like, oh dear God.
Well, I mean, it's not that hasn't happened.
Right.
We
got to work with it.
We all have to go to the process to get to where we are.
Right.
And thankfully, I think we're in a really good spot of that process. Yeah, there were some heartbreaking. I mean, I've talked with other directors about the process, and there's always a level of the word that these two other very great directors that I've spoken to, just casually, they bring up the word pain, which is like, you know, you go through periods of pain.
What's growing pains? Growing pains.
It's like fucking pain. but you know, you stick in it and you adapt. You grow and you keep your vision and you work with the people that want to work. And make it happen, and it's so inspired. Like to be on this end of it is wonderful. But thankfully, this process, the pain has been minimal. I mean, not that it wasn't. You know, I lost somebody that I really cared for, and I wanted in the part. But you know, it was painful to lose. But that happens, and any one of us who do this know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, it's not about ego. It's about keeping the work going, you know. And that I learned from Crystal. Crystal tells that to me all the time.
Right. So, that, you know what, I'm gonna jump on that as an actor.
Sure.
It's not about the ego, it's keeping the work going, but a lot of people in this industry don't realize how much their ego gets in the way.
Sure.
You do a certain kind of thing, and what happens over at Theater for the New City, there's such incredible new work developed over there. It really does have to be about the work, because I think that there really isn't room for an ego. There's no room for a big ego over there. It is about the production. I've seen so many fantastic things produced there, you know, and it is very grassroots in a lot of ways. Things have rough edges that work for them. When you start to get into big productions that there's a ton of money behind, then you're dealing with ego, and a lot of times the production will suffer. And it's very hard for all the talent in it. And you shook your head because obviously you've experienced that already.
Well, you know, I'll take the money, but you could keep the ego.
JC's having shirts made up that say that. Okay, so now I have to pick JC's brain. So maybe I'll switch it to a you.
Yeah, totally.
How does that sound?
Perfect.
All right. Don't take the tail with you.
I like the coziness. That was nice.
No, we're going to do it. Emilio's just going to go on the end. Okay.
Super.
And you know what? And I'm just loving this moment. This is like really hokey, but I'm just like feeling it. So bear with me. I'm going to take a picture really quick of all of us on there right now, right in the middle of the show. Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. So moving right along. I saw Whiskey River. I absolutely loved it. How did you become the playwright and performer that you are?
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Sometimes, you know, you get an idea and it just, it kind of starts building coil and it gets more and more into your brain. And when you start writing things down, and they think, oh, okay. That's
but when
cool.
did that happen for you? Like, how old were you when you started doing that? Let's talk a little bit about your history.
Way back.
Way back.
No, I think sometime in middle school. I learned that I was my stories would win little awards.
You did win awards.
Yeah.
Did
well,
people,
not there wasn't scholar type of thing,
no,
but it was like a creative writing class.
Yeah.
And I would read my stories and people would like them, and that was the first time I really thought that yeah, cool.
Did other kids get you in school? Did they get who you were, or were you out of the box?
It's such a weird time. I don't know. I don't know.
But obviously you evolved to enough support happened that you could be the you who you are.
The thing is, theater became the
theater
is
your home.
That happened, and you learn about expression, you learn about art, what moves you creatively, what moves me creatively kind of guides me, or has guided me through times of delusion, when you think, oh fuck, I'm so messed up, or but you something inspires you. For me, it was at the Guggenheim many years ago. Louise Bourgeois had this amazing show that was just
what was it about the show for you?
It was sort of like this internal brain fuck. It was like amazing. It was just if you know.
It spoke to you. I don't. I'm gonna Google.
Bourgeois' work. She makes these cages that are kind of like haunting and weird and kind of scary. Yeah, they're cages. She does many different things, but the cages was up at the top of the Guggenheim, and I went there with my niece, and she was in her 20s at the time, and we walked out of there, and I was just. Oh my God, blown away. And my niece was like, that was really disturbing. Right. But I remember that being just kind of like the jump off for me to say, hey, this is really what I want to do. And while I don't create art like Louise Bourgeois, I would like to. I mean, I love making. I mean, I actually made these rat tails, but
these are really quite beautiful. They people can see there's detail in the rat tails, the stitching in the rat tail. It's interesting. Your niece found it. I'm on a path here with you because she found that show about cages, and I don't know what it was. I'm going to Google this person. She found it disturbing. Yeah. You found it groundbreaking. Something in that spoke to you.
Yeah. Because she a lot of her work is sculptural, and it deals with almost like not transgender in how we know transgender, but in the transness of gender.
In the transness of gender,
like that kind of zygote area where before our sex might be determined, and that's not. It's not as literal as that. It's just something that to me. Really spoke to me, and
was it the primal? Factor, was it the primal? Yeah. I think primal. So what I'm getting, primal things speak to you. You use it in your work,
absolutely.
And primal, gritty, not so pretty.
Yeah, not so pretty. No,
not so pretty.
But beautiful.
Right. Right. Definitely, because even Whiskey River, which was. The characters in it were all very, very intense. You got a rat in that too. That
no, it was the whiskey. The whiskey,
right? The whiskey, right? But there's always that metaphor in there, that thing that's not so nice.
Oh yeah.
But you like to put the not so nice on stage. Yeah. But you know what? You put it on stage in a really nice way that embraces your audience, that makes your work really interesting and really stand out.
I thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Even your sets in Whiskey River, the thing I love, they had, because these are not huge budget productions, they had created an actual river on stage with cans.
With little bottles and little mini bottles.
There were mini bottles, right? There were glass bottles, like what you'd find in the recycling. That's where the cans came from. And I thought, how clever, because it was an actual river.
Thank you.
And it was used metaphorically in the show.
It was that, yeah. I love building the world, and you'll see in this show that we transformed the place.
I love that.
We just had our load in. We had a little tech thing last night. We'll do our dress rehearsal tonight. But
the dress rehearsal's happening right now.
No, but we're transforming the theater. My aim is, so when you walk into that theater space and people have walked in there before and you always recognize it, I want to take it to another level, to where it's like, oh my God, look at this space. It's really different. And I really enjoy doing that. I did that with Whiskey River, especially, and also with Crocodile's Lair.
Yeah, Crocodile's Lair is another one.
Really cool things with the space, and I like to just transform the space and warp the time a little bit,
Well, that I love that cabaret space. I did a show there called Glory, Glory, Hallelujah many years ago. That space is particularly a great black box space because of the depth of it. You have depth you can work with there, and and that's why it's called Detonation at Cabaret.
They offered us a bigger space, but
it's probably perfect.
But I wanted this one because it is an actual cabaret.
Right.
It is called cabaret, so let's do the cabaret in the cabaret. But it's also this intimate setting, which I think that the heart of cabaret is really a performance is connecting with the audience, connecting with who's there, rather than living in the world of our town or whatever, creating a world with like
that's really funny.
The musical, I don't know, what is it, Auntie Mame, you're in another world. No, this is connecting. We're breaking the fourth wall, and we are these wacky, weird characters, but they're just like you. We are you.
Just like me, I'm a wacky, weird character. Did you just call me a wacky, weird character because I have a rat tail around my neck?
We are having some special guests to be our opening act, and because we have a little opening act.
You do?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know anything about that.
Well, I'm telling you now.
I'm telling you now.
If you want to come and be a special guest and do a little set for us,
I would love to.
People would take their seat. Be good.
Do you want to? Would you like to write a rat piece for me? I'd like to do something that was apropos.
I want to write a piece for you and Tim.
Oh, that would be great.
I don't know what kind of animal that would be for you guys. But
well, I'm a rabbit. Everybody knows. I live with rabbits. Everyone knows. I am. Yeah, I did. No, lactomorphs. They're lactomorphs. Rabbits don't like being called. They're not. They're actually lactomorphs.
What's the lacto milk?
You know what? I never thought about the Latin roots of it, but they're called lactomorphs, rabbits. There you go. Emilio learned something too.
I did.
Come back on the set, Emilio. Yes, good over there. We go. Emilio is listening to port, as I said. So
I feel like we're on the Coney Island roller coaster.
We are. My shows are all being on the Coney Island roller coaster. I have some comments which I can never see, but all right. Hello, dear friends from Dear Rose Trentman. Let's keep the original history intact. Yeah. Okay. Are we doing that? Yes. And Rose will see you in Boxers on Saturday. Yes, indeed you will. And when do you bring the most interesting, fascinating guests to your show? I sure do, don't I?
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you, Rose. And Rose, of course, is a friend and is interesting and fascinating. And Emilio, you have met Rose at many things. Here we have Luis Alex Smith. Tell me who that is? All right. Well, Luis, all comments are great. And hola. You have to show off that you speak Spanish fluently to make me look bad.
Oh, no.
I'm just joking. I'm just going, hola, Luis. I screwed it up already.
Darling, you always look great.
Okay, thank you so much. You know what to say. And of course, our wonderful producer, Cameron Cole, who his film is now in a number of film festivals, which is really exciting. You can find out more about Cameron Cole on social media. Cameron wrote, just going to say it, Emilio is adorable. Everybody says Emilio is adorable, which is why he doesn't need a photo or a bio, because all he needs to do is show up. right? He's adorable and he can do the work and he shows up. We need to like get these preconceived notions of what you need to be in this industry.
Right.
Although when I was putting the PR together for this show, I needed a headshot from JC, and everything he sent me, he was in a rat costume. I'm like, I have to send this to my publicist. But we did pick the best rat costume one that you had, because you wear the rat costume.
Well, Wendy, it's not a costume.
No, it's who you are. No, but you're not. There are people, I have to say, because we're talking about rats today, there are people that are definitely rat-like, and you guys know what I'm saying. I meet people, and they'll be talking to me, and there's something about them I find mistrustful, a little devious, the way their eyes are, the way their eyes move, that again, I'm intuitive, it's a little rat-like, and I make a mental note.
I mean, I think I don't know, but why is the connotation for rats mistrustful and devious?
Because that's a connotation that our culture put on them. So you know what? We have not talked about like the history. I've got people on my show that we go back hundreds of years, and I don't know what rats were like in the Roman Empire. They had to exist. What do we know? What do we know about them then?
I think I mean, I have a limited knowledge of rat history, but I do know that they like JC formerly mentioned have existed wherever
throughout history.
And pretty much the same way they exist today. I mean, they're clearly exposed to very different things.
Right, but I wonder if they were so negative here in New York, rats and the dirty and disease. Yes. What can you share about rats?
Rats come from Norway.
Right.
Rats come from Norway.
Right.
It all started in
that
Norway.
Song, I once loved a rat, or it's Norwegian rat, isn't
Norwegian
it? I
wood?
loved a rat, or shall I say,
Norwegian rat.
he once loved
No,
Norwegian rat. No, but they're Norway rats.
But the Norwegian, the Rattus norvegicus is a big part of our show.
And that is, by the way, the largest rat. I want to share that with people.
Well, they're the ones that thrive all over the world. But we get into the Norwegian creation myth, and which does include, if you tweak it a little bit, rats.
See, I didn't know this.
And the cosmic tree of life, and this is deep for real. There's a Norwegian Nordic mythology.
Is it connected to Vikings?
It might be. Absolutely,
wow.
Yeah. So
I'm putting that in ChatGPT when I go home.
But you'll see. We get into it in our show. We address it.
You do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that, because that's a piece of history.
Now it's a good question of how they got to Rome, but I don't.
I can answer that.
Tell me.
They came on a ship.
Of course.
Of course they came on a ship, because rats were. That's how they made it all over the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm so smart! I just blew myself away. Came on a ship.
So
a cruise. They were on a Holland America Line cruise.
How did Americans get to America?
On a ship, right? And this is common sense. Okay, I'm going to throw one more thing into this. We all remember science in school, right? And often they would do rat experiments, which they were just humane, and usually a kid would take the rat home for the summer or whatever. They really I have to put a plug in for rats. They're so smart, and they really make great pets. I just have no more room in my menagerie, but I know people that have had pet rats, and here I'm going to put a shout out. Rats are really great. They make wonderful pets. They're highly intelligent. People I know that are into them absolutely love them. Absolutely. I think it's the street rats. The thing is, our whole thing with vermin and diseases that we might get, and viruses. But hello, look what happened.
Well, in what situation is a rat coming up to you and biting you?
Right. No, exactly. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
You might get a rabid raccoon that would come up to you, but Emilio's so smart. Well, it's true.
But it's like a bad rap. I think pigeons get a similar thing.
They do.
The rat would tell you, hey, it's not us, it's our fleas.
Right.
Because the fleas are really technically the vector for disease are the fleas,
as are the tick in the deer.
I would say it wasn't us; it's our fleas.
It's the fleas that
but
live on us.
So
well, we're going to talk birth control here. Maybe what you're saying about the fleas. Why not come up with something in that feed that they can stop the fleas from reproducing on the rats? I'm coming up with all these ideas. I'm trying to change the way we perceive rats in our society.
Well, welcome to the rat underground. Welcome to this is what the rat underground is all about. It's about changing the perception.
We're changing the perception here on If These Walls Could Talk. I loved having you all on here.
It's so wonderful to be here.
Oh, it's great. So Theater for the New City, October 9th through the 26th, Thursday through Saturday, with a matinee on Sunday. And you can go to Theater for the New City, their website, and order tickets for this. I highly suggest that you do.
It's only $20.
I know.
And you
that's another thing. Right. It's a full-on cabaret, and that's another thing. They always keep the prices reasonable there.
Yeah.
I feel like many New Yorkers now, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like what I know, it's like, how do they do this, and how are they getting away with it?
How are they getting away?
How are they getting? My personal piss off, and I'll share this off before I get off, is, I'm a performer. Maybe at 2:00 in the morning, I would like to take a taxi home, and I can't spend $40. That's just not right. And God help you if you're out in Brooklyn at 60 or 65. That's wrong. And this was just allowed to happen. And you know what? We're mad as hell. We're not going to take it anymore. That's why we're writing plays about rats. Theater for the New City, Detonation Rat Cabaret.
Yes.
October 9th through the 26th. Please come. Thank you both. You're all got great guests.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody.